New trans identity law, Hamtramck banning pride flags, and we got to introduce women to the world of professional football. Saint Your Mama's podcast, the Chico the Manuel show. Let's get it. A constant theme with this whole gender ideology and trans ideology bullshit is the clear outright attack on language. This is what they use in order to get their point across because every goddamn thing they say is incoherent. If you could just go as to trans women being women or fucking, trans milk is milk, all that kind of weird shit. It's all incoherent. It all boils down to nothing. It makes no sense, but it's got a lot of steam behind it. A lot of people get on board with this, and I think they're being sold a bill of goods. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. And part of the reason that is because how deceptive and how misleading all this language is. Like they fucked up the language. Language is a part of the culture that you build. And they fucked up the language so hard that now even some rational minded people can't even think straight when it comes to this trans ideology issue, or when it comes to like, gender is a social construct. It's like, okay, words are a social construct. Language is a social construct. So what the fuck do you mean? I heard Andrew Tate say this once. If you got some men and some women, and they like to say they survive a plane crash, and they end up on a remote island somewhere, far away from civilization, in the hopes that some random passerby will come see them, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen? Do you think that it's gonna be men walking around talking about their periods and shit, or staying at home to like take care? Like, no, they're gonna be out hunting, looking for food and shit, and the women is gonna stay back and do all that shit naturally. Now, why do you think that is? It's because these behaviors clearly give us our best chance for survival. It's not because women are oppressed or because men are domineering. It's because this is what the fuck we need to do if we are going to continue to be a we. Life ain't easy. Life ain't fair, But to sit here and act like the gender roles that we have in society now are inept or outdated or some stupid shit like that, because it's just nonsense. And it all starts with the language. So I found an article here from dictionary.com. Let me see, I'm going to pull this up real quick. Hey, yeah. Yeah, I found a little clip from dictionary.com, and I'm going to leave it on the screen as I read it aloud. It says dictionary.com. This is courtesy of LGBTQ Nation, which shouldn't got nothing substantial to fucking talk about, clearly. But the dictionary.com adds 9 new LGBTQ words and a big gender inclusive change. Now, like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? A gender inclusive change. Suppose we'll have to read this article and find out. So it says dictionary.com has added 8 LGBTQ. Wait, it says 8? I thought the headline said 9. Dictionary.com adds 9. And this one says dictionary.com has added 8. So already, before we even, one sentence into this shit, they can't even keep the fucking story straight. So that says a lot about the credibility of this whole shit, but let's go ahead and read anyway. Dictionary.com has added 8 LGBTQ terms to its latest official update. While some are well-known terms like the verb gay marry, never heard of that, 4 of the terms describe specific types of romantic and sexual attractions, adding to our nuanced understanding of human identity. To make the website more inclusive, Dictionary.com also removed binary gendered phrases through its pages, replacing him or her with their and he or she with they. Now, why in the fuck is that useful? For like the majority of us, why is that shit useful for people who don't subscribe to this shit? These people are a minority. Like they do not make up the bulk of any goddamn thing in society besides the biggest bunch of fucking whiners ever. So now the dictionary.com, for whatever that's worth, is not using terms that we all know and use like he and she, and they're replacing it with they or them. Now, when you make this replacement, why don't the feelings of the people that want he and she to remain matter? You just said, fuck us, huh? Because you want to subscribe to this minority complaint, this minority fucking magnified set of grievances, which is fucking up the language. It's fucking up the language. It's making one simple, direct, clear, understandable things are now shrouded in this fucking goofy ass, mysterious bullshit that y'all trying to push. Like, who gives a fuck about a they, them? There is no such thing as a fucking they, them. It's not. Sorry, they don't exist. There is no they, them that is a single entity. There's only one context where I can even see that being remotely relevant, and that's if you're referring to a person that's not in the room, or you're talking about actions that they have taken in the past tense, like that's what they wanted to do. And that could be talking about a group of people or one person. This is language. This is how it works. This is how it's always worked. They're the ones coming in here with the changes. Let me continue along with this article, though. You probably know what pink washing and queer baiting are, but how about abrosexual and multisexual? Now, I really don't know what the fuck pink washing and queer baiting is, so let's look it up. What is pink washing? Pink washing is a term that has multiple meanings, but generally refers to the use of pink symbols or slogans to promote a cause or product that may not be genuinely supportive of the intended beneficiaries. For example, pink washing can refer to the practice of claiming to support LGBTQ rights for profit or political gain, or the practice of selling pink ribbon products that may contain harmful chemicals linked to breast cancer. Okay, so that's pretty much BLM and this whole LGBTQ movement. They trying to promote a cause like, oh, we're here for kindness and inclusivity, but really they just want to destroy everything that's in place. So I think that's actually a relevant definition, because that's exactly what the fuck the whole trans movement is doing. It's what it stands to do. What was that other term? The fuck is it? Queer baiting? Yeah, let's see what that is. Because you know, even with all my dabbling in the community, I never heard gay marry, pink washing, queer baiting. I never heard this shit. And I've been around more trannies than I care to admit. Transsexual, whatever. I can't even say tranny on Facebook regardless of the connotation. So, whatever. Whatever the fuck you want to call trans women. What is queer baiting? Now, oops. Now, I'm going to just take a guess at, I don't even know how to guess. Like, I don't even have a clue as to what the fuck it might be. So, fuck the whole guess thing. Queer baiting is a practice of implying non-heterosexual relationships or attraction in a TV show, movie, or other media to attract or engage LGBTQ audience or generate interest without ever actually depicting such relationships or interactions. Queer baiting can be done by a writer, director, producer, or a celebrity or a public figure for the sake of publicity, promotion, or capitalistic gain. Queer baiting often leaves fans disappointed and frustrated. They got a little cartoon here that says, what the fuck is that? Blow it up. There goes one more up the mainstream. Maybe they'll last longer than 5 seconds this time. Ah ha 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 ha. Whatever. Who gives a shit? Anyway, back to this article. Now that we know, they said I probably know what it is. Like, I wouldn't have guessed either of those. Maybe queer baiting, but I just don't even care to think about stupid ass shit like this. So I would not have ever guessed that shit. But The 566 newly added terms are largely taken from technology, climate change, and youth slang. However, the newer LGBTQ-related terms reflect changing social awareness about trans identity, sexual fluidity, and intersex bodies, all things that we don't really need to give a flying fuck about. We really don't. We don't need social awareness on trans identity and sexual fluidity and intersex bodies, which intersex people are the people who didn't ask to be a part of this movement but got drugged in here by the trans ideologues just to fail at proving a point. So they just got drugged into this shit. They're collateral damage. Here are the terms and their definitions. Diverse owned, adjective, of a business owned by someone who is a part of a group historically underrepresented in entrepreneurship, such as women, ethnic or racial minorities, LGBTQ people, etc. Okay, so when I see diverse owned in that context, I just think victim. It's just propping up victims. Like, oh, you were a victim of something. Your people were a victim of something back then, so now you should get something for it now. That's what that is. And it's fucking stupid. Gay married, to marry a person of the same gender. So they just took a word that already exists and put gay in front of it, and now it's supposed to be something else. Like they just took an already existing word, marry. But gay and marry already exist. But they just attached something to it to not really to marry a person of the same gender. So it's gay marriage. Like you realize that word exists without the prefix, right? You realize that's been a constant theme since forever, right? Okay, I just wanted to make sure we was all on the same page with that regard, because I thought it was a new thing. I thought these were new words, but that's not even made up words. They're just changing the meaning of already existing words, which is an attack on language, which is how you destroy culture, and it's the fucking problem. Amalgagender. Noting or relating to a person whose gender identity is linked to or impacted by the fact that they are intersex. What? What? Noting or relating to a whose gender identity is linked and impacted by the fact, like, so who does this affect? Like, we've already established that like some fraction of a percent of the population is intersex. So like now, like a person whose gender identity is linked to or impacted by that, they're now amalgagender. That doesn't even make any fucking sense. Stealth, an already existing word of a transgender person living as a cisgender member of one's identified gender without revealing that one is transgender. Like, come on now. A transgender person living as a cisgender member, and I don't even fuck with that term cis. So they basically are who they are without revealing that they are not who they think they are. Got you. They're a stealth. I've always thought I used to play stealth games like Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell. Those were stealth games. And you generally had to sneak in and infiltrate buildings and kill people silently. Like you actually didn't want to kill people. You wanted to neutralize them but not kill them. Like you wanted to get in and get out unseen. Like a stealth bomber. Like a fucking all black aircraft that flies low enough to where it's not detected by certain radars. And it's got like certain engines to where it doesn't make a big noise when it doesn't make that much noise when it crosses over. And it's black to blend in with the night sky. And there's no flashing lights on it. That's what I understood stealth to mean. It's got nothing to do with transgender people. They just want to absorb everything and make every goddamn thing about them. You do not own these words. Polysexual. Noting or relating to a person who is sexually attracted to people of various genders, but not necessarily the people of all genders. Polyromantic. Noting or relating to a person who is romantically attracted to people of various genders, but not necessarily to people of all genders. What the fuck is the point of that distinction? That's like saying, oh, I like some Fagos, but I don't like all Fagos, so you can't call me a fan of Fago. Like, I'm polyfago. I'll drink Red Pop, I'll drink Rock and Rye, I'll drink cream soda. But get that blue shit away from me. Get that Rock and Rye. Get that shit away from me. I don't fuck with all Fagos, okay? But I'm phagosexual. I'm phagoromantic. I'm polyphago. The fuck out of here, man. Autosexual. Noting or relating to a person who primarily feels sexual attraction to and desire for themselves as opposed to other people. Okay, so we call those people narcissists, conceited, weird, autosexual. Yeah, I'm not into you guys like I'm into myself. Like, how does that not indicate some type of fucking deficiency? Like, you're fucked up if that's how your mind works. The fuck's wrong with you, you goddamn weirdo? Fucking stupid. Autoromantic, blah blah blah. I'm sure because these are so diverse. Like they're just taking the suffix and just changing the suffix. Or polysexual, polyromantic. The definitions are pretty much the same goddamn thing. Autosexual, autoromantic. No nigga relating to a person who primarily feels romantic attraction and to desire for themselves as opposed to other people. Shut the fuck up. This video's got 127 upvotes, 458 downvotes. It really needs more. It needs more downvotes. I mean, this article or whatever. So was that the 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Even though we scroll up here, clearly says, what does that say? 9. So we're still not done with the article, but you know, in the very first sentence, it says 8. So either the people at dictionary.com struggle with words and numbers, or I'm the one who's losing my fucking mind. I highly doubt it's the latter. To make dictionary.com or who's the website's lexicographers rewrote entries to replace gender pronouns with gender-neutral pronouns to avoid using a pronoun at all. So now they're trying to eliminate pronouns for the language unless it falls in the line with the dumb shit that they're talking. Fucking ridiculous. For example, the old entry for folk singer was a singer who specializes in folk songs, usually providing their own accompaniment on his or her guitar. The new entry reads on their guitar, while the old entry for volunteer was a person who voluntarily offers himself or herself for a service or undertaking. The new entry removes the pronoun altogether, reading a person who voluntarily offers to perform a service or undertaking. What's the fucking difference? Like when you're talking about peoples and persons, it's a he or a she. All this gender neutral shit is not real. You're not, instead of a folk singer, a singer who specializes in folk songs. A folk singer doesn't even indicate male or female. It's a guy, it's already neutral. So now you're just making already existing shit more verbose for no reason other than to stroke your own ego. It's stupid. It's patently stupid. It's dumb as fuck. Just like these people. This change is made for 2 reasons: inclusivity and usage. Dictionary.com lexicographer K.E. Calloway explained. Now I wonder if K.E. Calloway is a male or a female, because this is what female authors do so they get their books to sell. Because if you've ever read a novel by a female novelist or by a male novelist, I have, especially when I was in jail. And the biggest difference is it's just a lot more details for shit that I don't really need to have that many details for. Like, if you're in the courtroom, I don't need to know whether the fucking it was oak wood or cherry wood, or whether the damn prosecution was wearing a pencil skirt with horizontal stripes and plaid and tweed and all that shit, and whether she was wearing 4-inch or 6-inch or 5.5 and 3/4, 16-inch. I don't need all that shit. The bitch showed up in a suit. Okay. So is this motherfucker male or female? On the inclusivity side, his or her does not include people who use other pronouns. In terms of usage, they is simply much more common as a generic pronoun than he or she, including in spoken and all but the most formal types of written English. In fact, this has been the case for decades, even though people rarely notice it in speech. That's bullshit. So they is much simply more common as a generic pronoun, including in spoken and all but the most. This has been the case for decades, even though people, like I just said, the only time you refer to a person as a they is when they're not around, or when it's like a third person reference. That's the only time a singular is referenced as a plural. Otherwise, they is somebody else. Like the powers that be, that's a they. It's a group of people. If it was one person, it would be the power that is. The fuck? These people don't know English, and their lack of knowledge and thinking they're making modifications to it is destroying something that wasn't broken. By making this change, we have made our entries more similar to how people actually speak and write. False, hopefully making the entries more natural sounding and thus more accessible to readers. This is all jargon. This is all bullshit to impose a change that's not necessary. That's all this fucking shit is, dude. It's outright horse shit. It's unnecessary. It's stupid. The people who espouse this are stupid. Like, out of those 8 words, 4 of them was words. Like, the other 4 was just a variation of the word. Like, instead of autoromantic, you're an autosexual. And those are 2 different words. But the definition is damn near copy and paste. Like, what the fuck? This is the attack on language. This is why you need to be eloquent. Eloquence is verbal martial arts. And while these people can barely throw a punch, let alone engage in any kind of physical activity whatsoever because they're fucking numbskulls, like, you need to be able to say what you mean and mean what you say. It's not really optional. This shit's mandatory. Because anybody with a half-baked understanding of the English language should be able to dissect this shit clearly and with little effort. I know I am. It's obviously stupid. Obviously. This is an attack on language, bro. And if you don't stop this shit, if we don't stop this shit, pretty soon up's gonna be down, left's gonna be backwards, and the library is gonna be the goddamn bus station. Because what the fuck matters anymore? Even a little tranny I dated used to do that shit all the time. It's like, well, my definition of the word is like, I don't give a fuck about your definition. I give a fuck about the definition. Yeah, we've all got like a little subjective like flair or understanding of a word, but that's why dictionaries exist. So it's a common wellspring where we can go and figure out how to actually plug these words into normal parlance. Motherfuckers didn't make dictionaries for you to go around and just say, well, this is what it means to me, and I need you to understand it that way or you're a bigot. Well, I guess I'm a fucking bigot. Because to me, a bigot means the greatest person alive. See how that works? Fucking dumbasses. Stop the attack on language, man. That shit's frustrating, and anybody that's complicit in carrying along with this shit need to be taken out with the fucking trash, man. For real. Now, we all might have heard stories circulating about parents incurring actual legal penalties for them not being on board with the transing of their kids. And by transing of their kids, I mean deliberately grooming your child to grow up and present and appear to and actually believe that they are the sex that is opposite what they are. And I say opposite because there are only 2. When there's an opposite, you can't have an opposite of something that's 3 or more. Opposite is one or the other. It's like, what's the opposite of hot? Cold. It's not like, oh, we're chilly or cool or no, hot and cold. Opposites. So I see this article here and it says it's from Back Edge News, whatever the fuck that is. Let me actually just go ahead and pull this up real quick. So yeah. Legislated evil. Parents could lose custody of children according to new trans identity law. So just before I get into it, my understanding of it is that, let's say you have a child, toddler, or in that toddler range, and they start doing things like they got sisters or siblings, they put on their sister's dress, or they put on their high heels, or they, draw some shit on their eyelashes or whatever. Now, to these people, they look at that as a tacit admission that, oh, my child says he wants to be a girl. My boy says he wants to be a girl because he put on some high heels and some sequins and blah, 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 blah. That's what they say. While normal people with regularly functioning brains would suggest that, nah, this is fucking, kids do this shit. They don't know right from wrong yet. They're not even familiar with the opposites, binary systems, all of that shit. They still trying to figure out how to walk and ask for what they want. But this is not how they do that. So let's get into the article here. And it's a slide, so this might take a while because I'll be having shit to say. Legislated evil, blah, 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 blah. California has passed more legislation to protect LGBTQ children, which isn't really a thing. Parents who disagree with their child's gender identity could risk losing custody. Here's the whole story. Parents must affirm child's gender identity. The California State Assembly recently passed legislation requiring judges in child custody cases to consider whether or not each parent has affirmed the child's belief that they are transgender. What the actual fuck is going on here? Okay, so you must affirm your child's gender identity. So we saying this with the understanding that that children don't even understand their gender identity. They don't even understand how they're going to feed themselves tomorrow. Children are very egotistical creatures. They don't have to go out and do things to provide for themselves. Like, that's done for them. Their whim is designed to be met by parents. That's kind of like in the brochure for being a child. Children say they're one thing today, say there's something else tomorrow. Because they don't fucking understand everything that goes into like permanent decisions. Like making decisions that not just gonna affect you tomorrow, but forever. They don't understand that. But the people pushing this narrative on them, they totally understand it. And they understand that children don't have the linguistic capability to reject such a premise. So this whole saying parents must affirm gender, I wish the fuck some court would try to come take my kid, my son, because I won't tell him that he's a fucking girl. You might be gay. I'm okay with you being gay. It's not ideal, but I'd much rather you be gay than to be lost in this wild shit. The motherfucker come try to take my kid because I don't affirm that bullshit, it's going to end in bloodshed. I can guarantee you that if it was me. You gonna have to shoot it out with me. Ain't no fucking way. Unless some governmental agency come take my rights for being sane. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Empowerment Act. The title of the new legislation is the Transgender, Gender Diverse, and Intersex Youth Empowerment Act, which can be better summarized as fucking ridiculous. That's how we can surmise that. It's not empowering anything but lunacy and stupid people who don't need to have kids anyway. Amendment. Before the new legislation was passed, it was amended to include the state's parental responsibility standard regarding a child's welfare. Okay, so what? You mean to tell me that like recommending children get their healthy breast cut off and penis mutilated is a standard regarding a child's welfare? No. That's a no. It's a no from me. Parents deemed fit. According to the state of California, for a parent to be deemed fit to provide for the health, safety, and welfare of the child, the parent must be affirming of a child's gender identity. So this further goes on to why California is a leftist hellhole and it's a place you should avoid at all costs. I was going to report on the article they did about raising the fast food wage to $20 an hour. But like I said, it's California. This is the type of shit that happens there. Who really give a fuck? I've been to California in my life out of 3 days. I went there for a weekend. I think I was working in Walgreens in Vegas and I drank too many Red Bulls trying to get through the job. And like that shit had an adverse effect on me. So a lot of the time I was there, I wasn't really out adventuring. I was doubled over in my hotel room with seething neck pain and an inability to like turn my neck. I don't know what the fuck was going on. And I spent damn near 8 hours in the Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital just for these motherfuckers to give me a COVID test, give me an MRI, give me all these tests, and then tell me that there's an enzyme in my blood that only shows up when you're about to have a heart attack, but then never tell me what the fuck that is, at which point I decided to leave AMA and never return to the state of California fucking again. This is way before I knew about this shit. California is a weird fucking place. When I first got to Vegas and I was hanging out in the hostels where I was exposed to people that was from the Netherlands and fucking Jamaica and Russia and all over the place. You talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. This hostel at the time I was there couldn't have been more diverse, equitable, and inclusive. Until the lady tried to say I shouldn't own a gun because I was wearing a wig, which I can't be that mad at her. I was mad at her then. I'm not as mad at her now, but I'm getting off topic a little bit. I say all this to say that California is not like the rest of the country. It's a place you should avoid unless you just... All the people I talk to from California tell me stories about how they see ghosts and they hear spirits and shit. Like, this shit was so common. Like, it's almost something I started to just assume. Like, are you from Cali? Oh, so you probably didn't see ghosts and, like, you didn't talk. Like, they some weird people. So the fact that they would say that you must affirm a child's gender identity doesn't even strike me as odd. Like, this is what the fuck they do out there. That's the kind of life they live. Parents could lose custody. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom is expected to sign the bill into law. Holy shit. When he does, parents who choose not to recognize the gender their child wishes to go by could lose custody of their child to another parent or the state. Now let's think about that for a second. Let's just say half of parents, 50-50 split, half of them decide to not do this. They say, fuck that. If you're a girl, I'm not telling you you're a boy. If you're a boy, I'm not telling you you're a girl. So if they lose custody to the state or another parent, if you just do the numbers on that, like let's just say like every year it was always 50%. So that 50% now becomes 25%. The next year that 25% becomes 12.5. The next year that 12.5 becomes 6.25. And like eventually that's gonna boil down to where like the amount of children in the state of California who aren't being born into this shit will mathematically factor itself out to just be, well, this is the norm now. To where the amount of children who aren't having their gender not affirmed by parents is basically non-existent. It's negligible. So how is this not indoctrination? Like when have you, like normal life when I was growing up was not an indoctrination. You know, my mom had a friend who was like, I'm assuming she's lesbian, but she carried herself like she wore like sweatshirts and like loose jeans and shit. And like I could look at her face, like when I think of her memory, I could tell that she was a fucking female. But when I was little, I'm like, no, that's I'm not gonna say her name, but she's a guy. Like that's not a she, that's a he. So I know personally that this shit is confusing. This shit is confusing to juvenile toddler minds. Doesn't matter if you can talk. I know what the fuck when I look at my mama, I see a female, but when I look at this bitch, I see a nigga. Cause it's confusing. I don't have no frame of reference. And that's what they want to do to all these children. And it's fucked up. Aiming to create a more inclusive environment. Supporters of the bill say it is in the best interest of the children and it aims to create a more inclusive and affirming environment for gender diverse youth. You're trying to create this utopian fantasy where everything you do is just agreed upon and everyone's a fucking yes man. Stupid. The left is trying to make parents less important. Abso-fucking-lutely. Before I even read, absolutely. Republican presidential candidate Tim Scott called the new legislation evil. He said the radical left was on a mission to make parents less important. Not only is it just to make parents less important, they're trying to destroy the nuclear family. Everything that built civilization, every civilization that ever exists was families. And they don't want that. They want a bunch of single, incel, angry-ass men who ain't getting no pussy because of things like hoflation and other shit like that. And they want a society of empowered women who haven't actually done anything in terms of the infrastructure, the things that actually make society work on a tangible grassroots level. Like, ain't no female plumbers out there. I don't see no females constructing no skyscrapers. When I see a construction crew with a female on it, she ain't operating no motherfucking jackhammer or no hydraulic equipment. She's standing out there with the slow and stop sign. Like, oh yeah, you so hard. The niggas that's digging underneath the ground, laying pipes and shit. Where's y'all at? So a society where y'all is in charge is doomed to fail because y'all don't want to do the dirty shit. Y'all don't want to do the shit that actually makes societies thrive. Which is fucking outrageous, man. This is all left-wing ideology. This is what it is. This is what it consists of. This is why you shouldn't be a part of it. But you most likely are. Fucking A. Promise to fight back. Scott promised to fight back to put parents back in charge and protect the next generation of children from this absurdity, as you damn well should. Now look at this fucking picture right here, dude. Like, these kid boys touching faces, which them inherently touching faces ain't a problem. Like, I hug my homies and shit. Like, you know, like, embrace. Like, we can embrace and shit. But these niggas got rainbows on their faces, and their faces touching specifically where the rainbows are. Like, you want kids to be gay. And there's nothing wrong with being gay. If you grow up and you gay, and you know, you genuinely gay, not because you've been indoctrinated into it, then whatever, man. But in the child phase, like when I was in school, you knew what kids was gonna be gay. You knew the gay ones. And wasn't nobody telling them that shit. I don't think that shit was being propagandized toward them like that. That's just how they was. You can't tell if that's how somebody is nowadays because this shit is being plastered in cartoons, in schools, in every fucking where you go. Democratic lawmakers who created the bill say it is necessary to ensure the well-being of transgender and gender-diverse children. There's no such thing as transgender children. There's no such thing as that. If they are transgender, it's because some adult made them that way. There's no fucking transgender children. It just doesn't happen. It's not real. Okay? It's not real. So you're talking about the well-being of them, or if we don't affirm it, you guys will kill yourself. Good fucking riddance. Not necessarily because I want you dead, but because the ideology, the people who promote the ideology you espouse are wreaking havoc on society. And if it's less of you, then ain't no blood on my hands. Blood's on their hands. This whole thing is an emotional blackmail plot. And that's why it should be fucking done away with. More clear guidance. The lawmakers who created the bill argued that judges already possess discretion in considering gender affirmation, but the law will provide more precise guidance for them to follow. Oh, yeah, because that's what the fuck we need. Concerns about the bill. Republicans have raised concerns about the new legislation saying it infringes upon parental rights and autonomy. Well, of course it does. Excuse me. And like, I'm not saying parental rights. Just because you have parental rights, that doesn't mean you can do whatever the fuck you want. It just means when it comes to decisions that only an adult would be like lucid and capable of making, like once you got some years under your belt in life, and you can be trusted to be responsible for making decisions that are responsible for you. You know, when you're not at the age to do that, that's what parental rights encompass. Not just because, well, I made you, I can tell you to do whatever the fuck I want you to do. Like, that's stupid. That's fucking dumb, and it's dangerous. So, hell yeah, it infringes upon parental rights. When not a kid, the parent got to listen to the kid? So, wait. You telling me I'm 30-something years old, and your ass been here for 4 years, and now you calling the shots on what the fuck I got to do? Or some people or the government, the state, gonna come take you away? The fuck? That shit don't make sense in math, on paper, anywhere. It's incoherent. Clearly incoherent. Like, what the fuck, bro? Government overreach. Critics call the new legislation government overreach and worry about parents being penalized for not conforming to their child's gender transition. Well, that's what the fuck's gonna happen. Hell yeah, you should be worried about it. The author of the bill speaks out. The bill's author, Lori Wilson, argued that parents typically support their children, especially when their gender identity aligns with their biological gender. However, Wilson said when there's a mismatch between the two, parental support tends to decrease. Well, why do you think there would be a mismatch between the two? I know the premise of asking such a question will never dawn on your feeble ass mind, but why do you think that would happen? Why would parental support tend to decrease when you got this radical, rebellious ass child who's just doing this shit because they don't even understand why they're doing this? And by the time they understand, they might have had some titties chopped off or some dicks mutilated. All chasing this fantasy that ain't real. And then they'll be regretting it. But what the fuck good is regret at that point? You're stuck. You are stuck. Parents should support their children. Wilson said a parent's job and responsibility to support their children regardless of their gender identity. There's no gender identity, okay? You are what the fuck you are. You a boy or you a girl. And if you growing up in my house, you're going to align with that shit until your ass can afford to not be under if you under my roof, you ain't entitled to no fairness. I'm your parent. I'm not your goddamn friend. And I'm not finna let you walk around and reflect on me spewing this crazy ass mumbo jumbo. Fuck out of here. Utter madness. Elon Musk, who lives in California, called the new legislation utter madness. His concern was that the bill was deceptive. According to Elon Musk, the bill implies that if a parent disagrees with their child regarding a medical procedure such as sterilization, the parent could risk losing custody. Musk said he strongly disagreed with this idea. I'm inclined to agree with Elon Musk disagreeing with that shit. Legislated evil. Public square. How much more of this we got? All right, so yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap it up with this one because it's just a bunch of just these slides get kind of repetitive, and it just look at this whole shit like one sentence. Nah, see, I might different approach. Focus should be on blah 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 whatever. Legislative evil. I talked about this not too long ago. How this transgender is evil, and that's not to say all trans people is evil. You know, some of them just want to live their lives. At least the old school trans people did. They wasn't shoving this shit in your face. In fact, they was trying to keep it out of your goddamn face as much as possible. Now everybody need all this goddamn affirmation and shit that I'm required to give when goddamn it I want it for me. Legislative evil. Public Square CEO Michael Safer said also disagreed with the decision and called it legislative evil. In his post on X, Safer said he was glad that I moved away from California. I don't even recognize my former home anymore. Yeah, that's because it's completely been taken over by left-wing ideology and trans ideology and people who don't value the truth in anything that they discuss, anything that they do. The truth is irrelevant. They don't give a fuck about that shit. They don't give a fuck about you. So, I mean, coming from that shit is definitely evil. And the fact that they trying to legislate protections for trans kids, something that's not real, legislated evil, man. Couldn't be better suffice. Don't do this shit. If you actually love and care for your children, you would not do this shit. And if you do, then you're a fucking liar. End of discussion. I picked this article because it don't get much closer to home, which is Detroit, Michigan. It don't get much closer than Hamtramck, which is, for those who are unfamiliar, like within the city, there are cities within the geological boundary of Detroit. So from Telegraph to 8 Mile to fucking Moross and then Jefferson, all like those 4 roads at which encompass the city. You got Highland Park and Hamtramck. And both these areas it's a lot of Muslim activity. Like you drive through there and shit. Even in like Livonia, Dearborn, like it's a lot of Muslim activity out here. Islamic stuff. You can see the Islamic print on stores. Like you see the Islamic people. Like damn near every gas station in the city of Detroit is owned by Arab. Like they're Arabic. Like there's no black-owned shit really in this city, you know. So when I see something that says Hamtramck is banning pride flags, then I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. I attach it to the fact that Islamic culture don't really vibe with that shit, you know? And I understand why they don't vibe with that shit. They probably better off as a result for not vibing with that shit. But we got something for you here. There's another slide, unfortunately, but let's check it out. It's courtesy of, hang on a second, who we got here? Courtesy of Wealthy Living. And let me see if I can full screen this. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Banning all American flags. City under fire. Hamtramck's controversial ban on pride flags cites religious freedom. So just based off that headline right there, people have said that the LGBTQ shit is pretty much a religion now. Like if banning a pride flag is affecting your religious freedoms, then we can go ahead and effectively on the record say that this LGBTQ shit is not about sexuality. It's a cult-like religion. It's a religious cult. That's what it is. In a controversial move, the Hamtramck City Council in Michigan has unanimously voted to ban the display of LGBTQ flags on public buildings, citing religious freedom as the basis for the decision. Oh, okay. So I misunderstood that. They're not saying that, okay, so I was wrong. They're not saying that the LGBTQ people ain't saying that it's against their religious freedom. It's the people of Hamtramck saying that the pride flag is an infringement on their religious freedom. Okay. So I misunderstood that headline. My bad. You know, I'm only perfect 6 days out the week, and this is the 7th day, so forgive me. So yeah, let's read on. The city bans pride flags. After 3 hours of public debate, the Hamtramck City Council passed a resolution with comments predominantly submitted via email expressing opposition to the ban. So you motherfuckers want to ban this shit, but you don't even have the balls to show up at the council meeting and do it face to face. Why is that? Why are you so opposed against something that you can't physically show up and oppose? The fuck? Let's see here. Okay, debates within community regarding ban. The vote, which also bans flags representing racist and political views, has generated intense debate within the community. Critics say it is discriminatory. Critics argue that the resolution is regressive and discriminatory, while supporters maintain that it upholds religious rights and values. Well, of course it's discriminatory. Of course it is. These people have made a flat out decision that they don't want this gay shit everywhere they go. They don't want it on top of bill. It's not Ferndale. It's Hamtramck. And they want to make sure when you driving through Hamtramck, your ass know that it's not Ferndale. They don't want pride flags up because they don't, if you gay within that society, they want you to be on the fringe. They don't want gayness showing up in their society. Now, why wouldn't they want gayness in their society? I don't know. Maybe just look at the rest of the fucking places that have it. Now, Ferndale, I get it. It's pride flags everywhere, but Ferndale is more like a restaurant town where you want to just go there and have your brunch and shit, and you get waited on. Like it's kind of bougie. So, and it's understood and accepted that like Ferndale is kind of like the area for that shit. Like when you go to Ferndale, that's where you handle all your LGBTQ shit. When you get to Royal Oak, it's a wrap on all that shit. When you get to Detroit, it's a wrap on all that shit. And that's kind of like, whether you agree with that or not, that's what the fuck it is. Like that's what it is. So yeah, I definitely agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, the shit is discriminatory, but if this whole idea that discrimination is universally and completely bad is frivolous. Like everybody discriminates. Now, I'm not saying that like you should discriminate in the sense where like I wouldn't rent my room out to you because you're a black person or because you're Arabic, but it's like you gotta make some judgments that ain't necessarily PC to further what you want to happen. So like, yeah, they saying it goes against their religious freedom because within their religion there is nothing's carved out for all this gay shit. Nothing's carved out for all this pride. They don't feel pride about being gay because it goes against their religion. And even in Christianity, like when I was dating Queen, not that tranny, Queen, that's her name. When I was dating Queen, she would always talk about how so many people in her family was like, even if they was outwardly against the gay, like they was secretly gay. Or like that was where all the trauma came from. It's like, oh, so you got these gay sisters, but when I'm gay, it's a problem and blah, blah, blah. And she was from Belize. So I guess, in part of Belizean culture, like they don't, it's real conservative, it's real traditional. And once so many of them people was exposed to that shit and they realized that they identified with it to some degree, maybe not fully, but to some degree, like there was a portion carved out for it in their life. Like it created some controversy, some internal controversy, as opposed to like whether I'm going to align with my religion or whether I'm going to align with my everyday experience regarding this shit. And it was like half her family. So it's like, do you see that should highlight how like as far as religion is concerned, this shit creates a rift. It's real hard to align with your religions and the principles that go with these religions and highlight the pride flag in the same motion. Like you can't juggle the religious and pride flag balls. It just doesn't work. It's not. Religion wasn't really designed for that. Religion is supposed to be the glue that holds civilizations together through rough times and shit. The council members support the decision. Council member Mohammed Hassan, who introduced the resolution, defended the ban and accused critics of disregarding the perspectives of the city's residents, which, as I said in the beginning, Hamtramck, Highland Park, Livonia, Dearborn, these are suburbs of Detroit. Huge Arabic presence. And where you see Arabics, you'll see Islam. They have mosques and shit around here. So it's not a huge shock to me. It's not like mind-blowing shit. that they don't want Pride Flag. They don't want to be Ferndale. They want Ferndale to be Ferndale, not Hamtramck. Respecting religion. Council member Nadeem Chowdhury echoed Hassan's sentiments, emphasizing the importance of respecting religious sensibilities and religious rights. Now, everybody want to talk about the First Amendment. Half the motherfucking people don't even know what protections the First Amendment give, but it's the right to religious freedom. But if your religious freedom is against LGBTQ, then you don't have that religious freedom anymore. You don't have the right to tell people that they can't be gay where they want to be gay. And I think that's a problem, because yes, the fuck you do. If the community has spoken, which means you asked all the people in the surroundings, you asked them, and they said, we don't want this shit here, then it's time for you to go somewhere else. And luckily, if that was the case, if you was a pride person in Hamtramck and you want to go somewhere where it's welcome, you don't even have to go farther than 2 miles. You can go 2 miles north, straight to fucking Ferndale. And it'd be everything that you wanted in terms of pride, in terms of gay and lesbian, drag queens reading, even at the Affirmation Center. I've been up at the Affirmation Center in Ferndale, seen drag queens reading to kids. And it's like, it ain't the time and place to just be like, ma'am, you're just atrocious, blah, blah, blah. But that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? You know, why the fuck is this happening? Questioning the need for a flag. Chowdhury stated that LGBTQ individuals were welcome in the town, but questioned the need for the flag to be displayed on government property. He argued that LGBTQ individuals were already represented and that the focus on the ban is bigotry was counterproductive to fostering understanding. Chowdhury said, you're already represented. We already know what you are, who you are. By making this about bigotry, it's making it like you want to hate us. And that's exactly what they want to do, because it's not, all this is under the guise of all this kindness and understanding and shit. They don't give a fuck if you don't understand. What they give a fuck is about you understanding. Their ideology does not have place. If you disagree with that shit, you are the enemy. You don't have no middle ground. And like my man Chowdhury said, like everybody knows, like there is no bigger victim group. Not minorities, not women. It's LGBTQ. It's the biggest, most popular, most influential victimhood group in America right now. So like, the fact that you guys are like I said, if you go through Ferndale, you represent it. Why do you need to be represented everywhere? Why does everyone need to give a fuck about you? And if they don't give a fuck about you, even in the interest of being neutral, bigotry, non-inclusive, non-equitable. Like, everybody don't give a fuck about this shit, man. People was living their lives till y'all came along. Y'all are the new kids on the block. LGBTQ allies voiced their opposition. Well, of course, they strongly oppose the resolution. Yeah, because all they give a fuck about is themselves. They don't give a fuck about what anybody else wants. They don't care about you, your family. They care about their right to be gay wherever. Just like the 1975. Make good music, good band. But they got invited to Malaysia or somewhere, some Asian country. And dude stops the song and says, why would you invite the 1975 to a place and tell us that we can't be ourselves? And then kisses the other fucking guitarist like a dude. Which is like, whatever. But like, why would you go somewhere specifically where that shit is not wanted and try to make them want it? There's like that Christian dude who tried to bring Christianity to them indigenous people and they ripped his ass to shreds. You can't make everybody, just like I can't make you give a fuck about tradition and religion and all that shit. You can't make us give a fuck about this gay shit and plaster it everywhere. It's too much. Concerns about unwelcoming environment. They expressed concerns that the ban would create an unwelcoming environment and potentially drive LGBTQ people out of town. Okay. Why do y'all think everybody have to welcome you? Especially when you the strange one. You the whole nigga that's dressed up as a pixie fairy and shit. And you want to go into this traditional ass society and be welcomed. Guess what? You're not welcome. I felt it all the time, even walking around Vegas. People couldn't say it to me. But it's like, I could feel it. I could feel that vibe. Like, if these motherfuckers had a concrete choice to have me here or not have me here, I'd be gone. So what if it drives you out of town? Go somewhere where you're welcome. Stop trying to make people welcome you. Lower investment. Critics also contended that the decision could hinder investment in the area known for its immigrant and artistic communities. Okay, these people are fine with that. Symbolic protest. One woman wearing a clown nose as a symbol of protest suggested that changing the city's slogans to reflect exclusion rather than inclusivity. Yet again, who gives a fuck besides you guys? You don't just get to bitch because everybody. Oh, so you want to go to a community where these values aren't promoted, and if they don't promote your values, now they're the ones with the problem. When before you showed up, this wasn't an issue. Fuck out of here. Shit's upsetting, man. Like these motherfuckers are just so goddamn so full of themselves, dog. Like everything has got to revolve around them. But they don't want to include the people who don't want them included. Their inclusivity only extends to people who align with that shit. Like you can't say no, I don't. You know, just like if we talking sports, motherfuckers say, hey, do you watch basketball? They know I'm more of a football guy with it. Oh, okay, that's cool. You know, football's a good sport too. Instead of them having that attitude, they're like, what? You fucking watch football? Why the fuck don't you watch basketball, you bigoted son of a bitch? You football watching asshole. Like, damn, why can't I just like football and you like basketball? Why the fuck do I gotta be the one with the issue when I wasn't the one with the issue till your ass showed up? Nigga, fuck you and your basketball loving bitch ass. Like, come on, huh? Senator expressed her support for LGBTQ community. Following the vote, Michigan State Senator Stephanie Chang, a Democrat, obviously, expressed her support for the LGBTQ community in a statement on social media. Chang assured them that they had numerous allies throughout the city and state and emphasized their value and acceptance. Like, you guys are valued and accepted, just not in Hamtramck. It's like, if I'm a black person, why would I go into a KKK city and tell these motherfuckers to just accept me? I know you guys hate black people, but I'm here. So if you don't love black people because I told you to, you're a bigot. You're a racist. They'd be like, okay, and I'd be hanging from a tree before the fucking night's over. Like, I'm not saying it's right, but it's like you cannot just bring your values, especially onto people who don't give a fuck about them. Proud ally and advocate. Chang added, I urge Hamtramck community organizations and leaders to continue to show their support to the LGBTQ community. I'm proud to be an ally to the LGBTQ community and will always proudly display a pride flag in my office. Well, as long as you don't do that shit in Hamtramck, shouldn't be a problem. Are we banning all American flags? Several social media users also expressed their thoughts regarding the ban. Of course they did. One Twitter user wrote, interesting. So are we banning all American flags since we're all Americans and represented? Straw man. That's a straw man. Textbook straw man right there. Like, the pride flag is not an American flag. Okay? It's a gay people flag. It's an LGBTQ flag. There is no A in the LGBTQ. Well, the A is, but it's not. It's for intersex, and it doesn't stand for American, whatever the fuck it stands for. So the pride flag is not an American flag. So it doesn't even qualify under your question. So are we banning all American flags? Like, what do you mean all American flags? If it's not a state's national, if it's not the flag of a state or the national flag, which is the American flag, then what the fuck are you talking about? Nobody is questioning state flags. Nobody's questioning the American flag. It's this pride flag that's trying to jam its way into this shit. Stupid fucks. Challenging violation of church-state separation. Another user commented, I would suggest that we all send a tweet to the city letting them know they're violating the law. No, they're not. Public land is for everyone. No, it isn't. Religion is in your own home. That's false. Separation of church and state. We have a right to public accommodations. No, you don't. Not in Hamtramck, you don't. Because they just voted on it. Motherfucker. Let me go back to that because I'm glad that's the end of that shit. But we have a right. Public land is for everyone. Everybody in the city send them a tweet letting them know they're violating the law. Okay, send a tweet. Send a fucking tweet. I don't give a fuck. As long as it's not a police officer or a law enforcement agent showing up at my door telling me I broke the law. I don't give a fuck about your little tweets. Your little digital blurbs. Like, man, get the fuck on somewhere, bro. Y'all niggas is reaching. And y'all reaching too far. Nobody, public land is for everyone. Well, yeah, if that's the case, why don't you let some of these motherfucking immigrants, illegal, undocumented immigrants, come in here and live on your shit then? This public laws for everyone. Why don't you let them do that? because that statement's false. Religion is in your own home. That's not true because America was founded on people escaping religious persecution. They founded America on religious freedom. The whole country is founded on that shit. So what do you mean religion is in your own home? These people are incoherent, stupid, and they should just be ignored at every opportunity. Anytime you get an opportunity to ignore these people, you should take advantage of it. Because this is how they feel about you. So we need to show them how the fuck we feel about them. All that being nice shit ain't gonna cut it. Fuck that being nice shit. This is what it boils down to. This is the game you created. Motherfucker, let's play. Oh my God, nigga. I laughed my ass off when I saw this shit. This was going to be hilarious. Because it's just a more notable extension of how this woke shit, just this wokeness as a culture, is gonna fuck around and get somebody killed. So yeah, I got this for you guys. It's a clip of a female football player who allegedly made history by not playing a kick holder. Like, she's a female who's allowed to play a skill position on the field with 21 other men. And let's bring you over to that, because this shit is fucking ridiculous. No, hold on a second. Here we go. Okay, so we got this. I got this clip for you. Let's check it out. And I know. Okay, so now we got some brightness here. I know you can't see my arrow, but if you look at the defensive line, you got the three guys. The dude from the 20-yard line on the 0. You got the one in the middle. She's the one on the right end. She would be the defensive end on the when I'm assuming on the side that's got trips. The trips receivers, she's on the defensive end on that side. So she's on the left tackle. That's where she's at. Now watch this amazing historic play that we should all be fucking, and not to mention, like, if you look at the score, it's 26-0, and she's on a 26-point side. So let's look at this historical ass shit she just did.
Exclusively in the gun. German with trips left, throws under duress.
Oh shit! Whoa!
I think.
Oh my God!
Heard a lot of footsteps and came up empty at the 25-yard line.
Whoa! Bro, that was historic. Oh my God, bro. Oh man, fuck, dog. I just witnessed history. This was the most historic thing I've ever fucking seen in football. Like, bro, she just ran straight to the quarterback, untouched, and sacked him after he threw the ball. Like, bro, do you know how hard it is to sack a quarterback after he throws the ball? It's so hard, they give you a penalty for it. It's called roughing the passer. It's a 15-yard penalty, which comes with a first down, as most defensive penalties do. You might even get ejected from the game for that shit, depending on how flagrant they think it was. So, I mean, I'm going to read this article, but before I do that, I just want to say how historical it is for Haley Van Voorhees' journey into college football history. I know I said professional football in the intro, but that's obviously where this is going to lead, which means some woman's probably going to end up dying, throwing her out in the field with these big 6 feet, 300-pound ass niggas running around. But for what Wikipedia is worth, I found this list of female American football players, and let's read that before I read the article. It says, women's gridiron football, including American football and Canadian football, is a form of the sport played by women, which is non-existent, really, or no one cares about it. Most leagues in the United States, such as the Women's Football Alliance, play by rules similar to men's tackle football. Similar as in not the same. Although women's flag football is emerging as a collegiate sport, women playing gridiron football at the college level have historically joined men's teams, often though not exclusively, as place kickers. The following is a list of some of the most notable female American football players. Players in predominantly male football leagues. They got one in predominantly female football leagues, but I don't give a fuck about that one. So, Patricia Palinkas, first woman to play professional football, debuting on August 15, 1970 as a holder for place kicker husband on the Orlando Panthers of the minor league Atlantic Coast Football League. She played 2 games in the preseason but left after Steve Palinkas was injured and cut from the team. Abby Vestal, first woman to score points in a men's professional football game, kicking 3 out of 4 extra points on April 23, 2007 for the Kansas Coyotes of the Indoor American Professional Football League as a high school senior. She was replaced with a college kicker after her 4th game, but she went on to play women's tackle football for the Kansas City Storm, but later became a rugby player. Katie Snyder, place kicker for the Fort Wayne Firehawks of the Continental Indoor Football League in 2010. She played the first 3 games of the season but developed a blood clot in her kicking leg. She went on to become a kicker for the Colorado Cobras in the Colorado Football Conference and for the KC Mustangs in the Interstate Football League. Julie Harshbarger, first woman to score a field goal in a men's professional football game, as place kicker for the Chicago Cardinals in the CIFL in 2010. Harshbarger was named CIFL Special Teams Player of the Year for 2014 for scoring a fucking field goal as a kicker for the Chicago Blitz and as the AIF Special Teams Player of the Year for 2015 after the Blitz changed leagues. Jennifer Welter, first woman to play in a non-kicking or skill position in men's professional football league as running back for the Texas Revolution of the Indoor Football League in 2014. In 2015, Welter became the first female coach in a men's professional football league after joining the coaching staff of the Revolution. That year, she also became the first NFL coach as an intern with the Arizona Cardinals, coaching inside linebackers at training camp during the preseason. Now, all this little fucking token shit. Okay, so they show me a woman that's playing a full regular season or like that plays a full preseason. Like these cameo appearances. This is like, dog, like, why is any of this an excuse to actually put real women on the football field with these athletic superstars? Like, you are going to get some woman killed when she gets hit sticked by a nigga the size of Ray Lewis or Clay Matthews or fucking what's his name? J.J. Watt or like any of these motherfuckers. Like, when they touch these women, you thought my man's who on the Bills, I can't remember his name right now, but the dude who had a cardiac arrest on the field not that long ago. Like, this was like within a few months ago or during the last NFL season. Dog had his heart stopped on the field. Now, imagine if that was a woman who took that hit. Like, she might be dead. And if that makes me sexist, fuck it, I'm sexist. Another point to mention, all these teams that these women, the only fucking professional men's football league in the league that anybody gives a damn about that I heard was the Arizona Cardinals. All these other fucking teams, the Kansas Coyotes, the Kansas City Storm, the Fort Wayne Firehawks, fucking, what else is this shit? The Chicago Blitz. Who the fuck is these teams, bro? The Texas Revolution. I've never heard of any of these fucking leagues, largely because they're irrelevant. And when you're talking about the sport of football, these motherfuckers don't even make ESPN. And ESPN covers poker. Like, they cover every goddamn thing, okay? Even though now poker's mostly covered by Poker Go, but whatever. So, I mean, this is just to show that we've had literally a handful of women step into predominantly male football leagues, and they do the least dangerous shit you can do. Now, if we cut back over to this chick, Haley Van Voorhees, she played one fucking play. One fucking play. And now we've got this honorary article, which I'm delighted to read. I'm honored to read about this historic young lady's single play in a collegiate football game where she committed a penalty and was dick sucked as a result. Like, they just, oh my God, he heard footsteps from everywhere. Yeah, I think that's because there's 22 people running around, not because this random chick who should have been flagged into obscurity, was rewarded and heralded for it. So let's read the article. I'm going to bring it down a notch. Let's read the article, and let's all take a moment to validate and glorify this rather elementary and remedial ass achievement. Oh boy. More than a decade after her 3-year run as a Washington Commanders cheerleader was over, Heidi Van Voorhees never lost interest in the team. A mother of 2 working in marketing, she'd take her young family to Jack Kent Cooke Stadium whenever possible. At their home in their small Virginia town west of Washington, she'd find time to watch the team's game on TV. She can close her eyes and still picture her daughter, a toddler, sitting on the floor, studying the sport on screen, growing more and more enamored by what she saw. Haley was always quiet, but one day she turned to her mom with a pointed question. "Why aren't there any girls on the field?" Heidi was at a loss. "I don't know," she said. "I don't know why." Stop. Let's pause there. So I don't think it's fair for this lady to lie to her daughter like that, especially when the outcome of such a fabrication is setting women up to end up right back where the fuck they started, in their own sports, in their own leagues, because some woman is going to get floored and killed, and we're all going to feign sadness when we all knew this shit was coming. We all saw this happening. So this woman is full of shit. She knows why there are no women on the field, because they don't belong there. But let me calm back down. I'm going to bring it back down, because this is historic, and I need to be composed for such an historic occasion. And this is how people actually want me to talk like that. They want me to be like this all the time, but I'm not going to do it. Heidi could have said that girls weren't allowed, and it might have changed everything. But she didn't, leaving open a path that would culminate in her daughter becoming a pioneer in the sport. This is historic. Let me calm down. This is history here. On Saturday, Haley, a junior safety. What the fuck is a junior safety? No, just pause again. What's a junior safety? Like, I thought there was strong safety and free safety. What's a junior safety? A junior safety at Division III Shenandoah University appeared in her first game, becoming the first woman in NCAA history to compete at a non-kicking position. She was in for one play, helping to force a 3-and-out by getting pressure on the Juniata quarterback. The following day, Shenandoah coach Scott Yoder said he hoped her role would increase. Yesterday was certainly a huge moment in her path, but her path keeps going. So that coach just basically said, yeah, I want to see this woman get seriously injured one day for being somewhere, but for trying to be a trailblazer. Her ass going to become the trail as she gets stomped all over, being in this competitive realm that she has no business being in. As a child, Van Voorhees was more surprised by the lack of girls playing football than discouraged by it. Looking back, Heidi said, I guess she didn't take it as if there couldn't be any. There were other signs, like how one Christmas Heidi parents gave Haley and her brother Claiborne a set of Washington uniforms, of football players and of cheerleaders. They ended up giving away the skirt and pom-poms. It still had the tag on it and never got worn, Heidi recalled. She absconded her brother's football uniform very early on and wore it for years. Chandler, Haley's father, remembers going to Washington games when Haley was a child. Now she'd tell the family, one day I'm going to be on the field as a player. That's always been in her, he said. I think part of this is just kind of who she is. Man, it was always so matter of fact the way Haley moved from flag football in elementary school to tackle football in the 6th grade. She became the first girl to play football at her high school, Christchurch. And when the boys hit their growth spurts, she responded by spending countless hours in the gym to get bigger and stronger. She knew that to have a chance to play in college, she had to get faster. So her family hired a trainer to improve her speed. She earned All-State honorable mention as a junior in 2019 before seeing her senior season canceled due to COVID-19. Now we're going to pause again. Because this is a pretty long fucking article. They go on and on about this shit. I don't know if I'll be able to read through it because it's oh yeah. Oh fuck no. We're not reading all of this. No. Bro, this is like a 15 fucking minute read. And the part that bothers me the most is, for one, it's way too long. Way too long for this shit. And like how her parents are basically setting her up to fail. We got her a trainer so she could. Where was I at? Man, all this shit. Like a lot of these ain't even paragraphs. Like this is just sentences. Man. She wasn't okay. She wasn't bothered when some boys refused to tackle her. Other parents. I'm gonna just read what. Let's to the next big break. So that's to where it says I'll read to Trammell Anthony. I want to get some more of this shit because there's a lot of ridiculousness in this shit, but I want to keep reading it. She wasn't bothered when some boys refused to tackle her. Other parents would whisper about the little blonde girl playing such a violent game, but Heidi and Chandler didn't pay them any mind. They didn't buy into the notion that women were more fragile than men. Besides, they had neighbors who let their kids ride horses, and every once in a while, they read about someone who fell off and died. That seemed scarier than football to them. Now, no, there's no. I lied about how much I'm reading. Like, this is giving me all that I need to work with here. So they said they compared the sport of football to riding horses, and they didn't buy into the notion that women were more fragile than men. So automatically, their parents are fucking retarded. If you don't think women are more fragile than men, just do any kind of physiological research on the differences between men and women, and you'll understand. You should understand, anyways, why this is in place. All they wanted for their children was to find something they were passionate about, to find their dream and follow it, to see her put in the work to make that happen and earn a spot on the college team, Chandler said. It's the best feeling in the world. Okay, she got a spot on the team. Like, they put her in a game where they were already dominating 28-0, or whatever the score discrepancy was. And for one play, and y'all talking about this shit like she went out there, recorded 9 tackles, 4 sacks, and 3 interceptions, and had like over 100 interception return yards. Like they acting like she lit up a score, like she lit up a score sheet, or like she just took over the box score. She played one fucking play and committed a penalty within that play. And she gets this way too long article about historic and how inspirational she is. Yeah, she should be inspiring other women to stay the fuck off the football field, because I almost guarantee you, if this shit progresses as a result of woke ideology, one of these women is going to end up dead, paralyzed, or maimed, trying to go heads up with some fucking dudes. Like they showed, it was some other clip. I forget the broad name, but she took the field on special teams. And special teams is arguably far more dangerous than like the regular offense, defense categories of football. Special teams is like you got some big motherfuckers running at full speed against some other big motherfuckers running at full speed. More injuries happen in special teams than anywhere else. They wanted their children to find something they were passionate about. Yeah, so what, you mean to tell me she's passionate about fucking almost dying or getting guaranteed to get injured? This is just like that trans ideology shit. Like, if you don't affirm your teenage daughter saying she wants to play professional or collegiate football, you might as well get arrested for it. Because it's just as much as a pipe dream as if she said she wanted to grow up and be a man. This is in that same realm of foolishness. Even the days I didn't want to train, I was like, but if I don't, I'm not going to get anywhere. Okay, that's a good attitude to have. Being the first made me do extra because I wanted it more than anything. Sweetheart, let me tell you, you're not going to have a career in football. It's not going to happen for you. Let me be the first to tell you. If no, I'm sure I'm just going to be another hater. I'm just somebody who just doesn't want to see you succeed. But I actually do want to see you succeed. I don't want to see you suffer some kind of life-altering injury or death because you out here trying to go heads up with these dudes. If it was something like basketball, I was like, okay, you probably not gonna be no starter, but at best you could be like sixth man. Like you could have some kind of fringe role. Like, you know, if you was like 6'2" or some shit like that, like you could probably attain the skills to come in and play point guard or some shit like that. Maybe be a shooting guard. You ain't gonna be no forward though. You ain't gonna be no center, and you ain't gonna start. And they have a league for you where if you could play against men, you would be way more competitive and dominant against women. This is all wokeism at work. Now we sitting here telling women that they can play football with men at a collegiate level, at a high school level, at a professional level. No, you can't. I was watching Matt Walsh about this shit. Matt Walsh almost killed me. That opening shit was so goddamn funny, but true. He didn't lie about a goddamn thing. And I didn't really even, like, I'm thinking, I'm just waiting for something where it's just like, man, Matt Walsh is completely full of shit. Like, bro, look at this. They trying to convince this little, 5'10" girl, because she, and look at this little picture. Let me bring up this picture they got of her. We gonna blow this up. Uh-oh, went too far. Hang on. We gonna blow this picture up. Because, like, this is what the fuck, like, she's supposed to be, look at this shit. Oh, yeah, look at those biceps. Oh, she's cut. And she doesn't wear makeup. And oh, yeah, she's a tomboy. Like, bro, her arms look like mine. Like, she couldn't run head up with me. The fuck out of here. I would destroy this bitch. Like, man, she would cease to exist. Like, if I started hitting the gym, like she's hitting the gym, I don't go to the gym. I'm just really active. I walk like 10, 12, sometimes over 14 miles in a day. So I'm just really, really active, and my metabolism is high. But if I change my diet, change my nutrition, and worked out and hired a trainer like her foolish ass parents did, I would destroy this woman. I would utterly wipe the fucking floor with her ass. She could never be competitive to me in the sport of football. I'd damage her ass accidentally. Why are we feeding everybody's delusion nowadays? Why is that the trend? For real though. This bitch ain't gonna never play football. Ever. At a professional level. Unless she's coming in there to kick an extra point or kick a field goal. This also extends into the narrative that, like, we don't give a fuck about women no more. We've gotten so used to acquiescing to the demands of radical females and women that, like, we not say, hey, well, if you want to go out there and kill yourself, fuck it, go ahead. If you want to go out there and get your kneecap bust up into your rib cage, go ahead. You know? What's the point of telling women the truth anymore? Because they're going to bitch and moan and beat us into submission anyways. So why even tell them the truth? Fuck it. Just be a yes man. Oh, you want to go play football with fucking where the average NFL lineman is 6'5" and weighs 315 pounds and can run a 40-yard dash in like 4.5? Yeah, you go out there with them guys. Go out there with them. You can do that. That's totally plausible. Man, oh man. I actually hope that she makes it to. I hope you get beyond the little collegiate level I hope you make it to the NFL so you can be the reason that women stop trying to do this. You need to go out there and get fucking flattened. Get absolutely leveled by somebody. You need to get like a Troy Polamalu hit. I ain't too hip with all these new niggas in the NFL because I don't watch that shit no more. But you need a Troy Polamalu to smack some sense into your motherfucking ass or smack it out of you. So other women can look at that and be like, oh, damn, that's what I'm going up against? Yeah, maybe I should just stick to being a teacher or you know, being in the social sciences or going to academia for the academics. Or maybe I should just stick to playing against women. Y'all got leagues. Just because you can physically perform some of the tasks that men perform does not make you a man. Does not mean you can do what men do at the level men do it. This is common sense shit, dog. Put this picture up one more time. This poor delusional ass girl chasing her dreams or whatever the fuck, whatever little leftist pipe dream explanation they want to put. She gonna end up going out there and getting fucking hurt. if she ever achieves, she'll never get a fucking spot on the NFL roster and play a regular season worth. Never! But I want to see it happen. I want to see your ass get hurt so you can be the example for other women to stay the fuck out of that realm. This is that woke shit at work, man. That's all I can say about it, bro. And I'm tired of wokeism doing shit like this, man. It's fucking disgusting. Hey, yo, that's the show. Thanks for listening. I hope you appreciated it. This is like the first video episode that I've patched together, so I feel really good about it. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. This is what is this, the 49th episode? I'm one episode away from 50, so I really want the 50th episode to be pretty grandstandy. I want it to be something good, so the 50th episode will probably be a double header, which is fucking fine by me. I hope I can get it all video too. That'll be even better. Mental maintenance will be back this coming, what's this Saturday, the 20 to 29th. So on the 8th, I'm pretty sure that'll be October 8th. I think so. But not this coming weekend. The next weekend, mental maintenance is back. It's going to be better, and it's going to attack more of the cultural issues and shit that's plaguing us. I'm going to expand it beyond just fallacies and thinking errors and put it more about the groups whose whole case is built on fallacies and thinking errors. So part 4 of 9, mental maintenance, will be back after a long hiatus. And yeah, episode 50 right around the corner, man. We're going to do something big for it. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'll holla.